Okay, so yesterday we saw that Nick Rolovich was fired from his job at Washington State because he wouldn't take the COVID vaccine. Now I'm kind of using the old school University of Hawaii Nick Rolovich. Nick Rolovich was a hell of a player at University of Hawaii. He's a quarterback and under June Jones, and he's a guy who knows a lot about offensive football, which is all the rage right now. I don't think that this is going to affect him career-wise. He'll probably land somewhere, maybe not as a head coach, but a coordinator or something, and he'd probably get another head coaching job pretty quickly. But there were a handful of assistants, I believe, maybe 3 or 4 that came with them from Hawaii, who also were let go for the same reasons. And the only thing, this is his decision, but his decision does affect a lot of people. Players who came to Washington State because they wanted to play for him. Other coaches who probably won't have a job when the new coach comes in. Players from University of Hawaii that he left to go take the job at Washington State. Now, it's likely he probably would have had to get the vaccine at UH too, because both of these states have pretty strict COVID protocols so far. So ultimately, he might have ran into the same issue at Hawaii. But you're kind of seeing this with Kyrie Irving. If it doesn't matter how good you are, if you can't be available, or it's going to be an issue where you might not be able to coach, play, whatever, the institution or the team, and when it comes to New Jersey Nets, they can't use you. There's nothing that they can do with you if you're not available. So ultimately, Nick Rolovich is out. They said they have been talking about this for months, so I don't think it's necessarily something of a surprise, although it does surprise people that are watching from the outside. But I think, you probably see more of this, I would assume. Washington State did want to keep him. They liked him. They wanted to keep him. They had tried for several months to try and keep him. Even though they could fire him for cause and not have to pay him anything, they did want to keep him. So it'll be interesting to see what direction Washington State goes. They were once a program that was pretty good, and they've been trying to rebuild for several years. I think they've had 3 coaches in the last 5 years or so. So be interested to see what direction they go, and if this kind of thing affects some other coaches or players in the future. We're already seeing it in the NBA.